Before any of us arrived, the Great Wall of China threaded its way across these ridges. It was not yet a wall, just earth marked by hands and time. From above, it winds through green valleys, the backbone of an old creature asleep. Mist hugs the slopes. The horizon washes into pale blue. Looking straight down, it becomes a thread drawn through forest, as delicate as a trail of smoke. Only when you follow its back do you see towers rising from the mist, each one a lookout and a shelter. Between them, the path lifts and falls with the hills. A few walkers drift along its spine. Some stretches float above leaves. Others press close to the hillside. Everything feels elevated. Light and shadow trade places. Even silence seems to have weight here. Step by step, brick and earth turn into morning. Shadows lengthen, peaks retreat. By the time you look back, it's a line at the edge of sight, calm, as if it has always been there. You realize then that the wall doesn't begin. It is already happening, whether or not we are watching. So take a breath and let your eyes trace the curves. This view deserves a pause. Up close, the wall feels like a moving market, a slow parade under open sky. Strangers brush sleeves and find the same rhythm. Footsteps ring off the path, and voices drift in every language. These old bricks once carried armies. Now they carry children on parents' shoulders and friends leaning together for photographs. A lift glides above the trees, red cars swinging like lanterns, lifting people from the valley to touch the ancient surface. Banners snap. A carved creature juts from a tower's edge, and someone points to a curve that looks like a sleeping dragon. From a distance, the rampart winds across the ridges, rising and falling like a creature at rest. You can't see where it ends. Every turn reveals another lookout, perched like an idea. Laughter and quiet moments weave together as part of the same tale. By the time you reach the next watchtower, you've traded smiles with strangers and become part of its memory. Pause for a moment and listen. The wall hums beneath the voices, patient and alive. At this lower entrance, the wall looks more like a city street bolted to a mountain than a fort. Carvers tap at pieces of brick, and vendors tie knots in bright cords. Bargaining and laughter rise and fall like music. Up the steps, umbrellas bloom against the sun. Feet find a rhythm on the uneven walkway. Souvenir flags snap in the wind. A staircase disappears into the trees, and for a moment, you can't see where it leads. On a wide terrace, people gather around red-etched characters, tracing them with fingers, snapping pictures, reading them aloud. Children dart between legs. Bells swing from the eaves. The smell of sweet corn mixes with incense. Someone calls a child back. For all the noise, the hill hums quietly underneath, as if keeping its own secrets. Lean on the railing, take in the view, and feel the weight of the years beneath your hand. If this journey awakens a sense of wonder, subscribe and continue walking with us. Here in the wildest stretch, fog hugs the ridge and a tower rises from the gray like a thought becoming clear. Beyond that, the wall rides the backs of valleys and sharp peaks, wet masonry glinting when the sun breaks through. Far away, it's just a broken line clinging to a wooded slope. Grasses grow between the bricks and no one pulls them. In places, the blocks have fallen away. You watch your step, knowing a misstep could send a rock tumbling into a ravine. A hawk circles overhead, and the wind whispers like words you almost catch. On the flat top of a watchtower, a small group lies on their backs, drawing shapes in the clouds and laughing at nothing at all. Farther along, the path narrows to a single line. Grass tickles your shins. A lookout in ruin leans like an old friend. Some towers are just piles of masonry. The wall keeps going anyway, fading into the haze. You leave with dust on your shoes, questions in your mind, and the feeling of belonging to something older than your own story. Pause here. Let the silence sink in before you move on. On the unrestored section, masonry crumbles. Grasses push through cracks. It feels less like a monument and more like landscape and time. Hikers walk along the bumpy spine, their hands brushing against worn bricks, their eyes on the rough path that goes up and down. Watchtowers sit in ruins, arches open to the sky, bricks collapsed in heaps, covered with vines. Between them, the wall climbs steep forested ridges. Old blocks cut through thickets. Travelers weave among loose rocks and branches, resting where the view opens to the valley. Up on a crest, a weathered tower leans into the wind. A lone hiker descends slowly. Memory lingers, long after footsteps fade. As the sun drops over the wall, the edges soften and mountains breathe. Shadows lengthen, and a ribbon of masonry unfurls slowly across the hills as the day slips away. One tower rises from a dusky slope wrapped in haze. Behind it, the ridges fold into each other like waves. On a restored stretch, visitors walk quietly as the path bends toward another watchtower. Soon, the wall becomes a silhouette. Battlements carve a line against a sky in gold. Clouds swirl above like smoke. The last light clings to the structure and then begins to fade. Night comes, but the memory of that glow stays with you, a warmth that doesn't leave. Thank you for walking with us. Until next time, may your own paths lead to wonder. This is World Adventure OS, the operating system for global wonder. Like what you saw? Give it a like. And to keep traveling with us, subscribe and turn on alerts.